So let me know, is this whiteboard is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir, visible.
Thank you. So fine. Today we will start our syllabus. So first topic is role of optimization. Role of optimization for machine learning. So first topic is we are going to discuss about what is the role of optimization in machine learning perspective. So before going to what is the impact or role of optimization in machine learning perspective, first we will discuss what mean by optimization. We will discuss what mean by optimization. So optimization is defined as it is a maximization or minimization of a particular objective. So either maximization or minimization of a particular objective, that process is called as optimization. Examples are, if you take any shopping malls or grocery malls like a DMart like that, their objective is maximize their profit. So they will take a decision such that the profit will be maximized. So that is one of the optimization problem, maximization of the profit of a particular grocery mall. Second thing, as a customer, when I am entering into the DMart to purchase the required groceries for a month, so my objective is minimize the cost, minimize my expenses. So that is also one of the general optimization problem. Okay, so different scenarios. You can, whenever you are trying to maximize or minimize any particular objective or objective function, is called as optimization. Is called as optimization. So your optimization problem will be looks like uh, either minimization or maximization of an objective function f of x equal to x squared plus 4x plus 6, where x is greater than or equal to 0. Such type of problems are called as optimization problem. So I am trying to minimize an objective function or minimize an objective such that where x are called as the decision variables or control variables. So simply, I don't want to concentrate much on the optimization process, defining the optimization process. I'm trying to explain how this optimization techniques will help you machine learning model. In machine learning, how these optimization techniques will help. Simply, I want to convey one thing, that is minimization or maximization of a particular objective function or objective is called as optimization. Is called as optimization. Then where we can use this optimization, why we need to discuss about the optimization, why we need to discuss about the optimization in machine learning perspective. In machine learning perspective, why we need to know about the optimization problem. We are working on the machine learning related applications. Why we need to discuss about the optimization problems? Optimization nothing but minimization or maximization of objective function. Why we need to discuss? So to understand why we need optimization, we will discuss about the one small machine learning problem, machine learning model. Okay. So in order to understand why we require optimization techniques, why we require optimization problem, why we need to study optimization problem for machine learning perspective. If you want to know the answer further, now you have to understand, you have to choose one machine learning model and we will discuss about the machine learning model. Then you can understand why we require that optimization. So different optimization techniques are available, like stochastic gradient, batch gradient, RMS prop, different optimization techniques are available. But why we need to discuss about those optimization techniques? What mean by optimization problem? So further, in order to understand that, we will discuss, we will start with a simple machine learning model, very, very small machine learning model. Because whenever we try to understand any concept, it's better to understand the concept with small small information and try to apply that concept for your bigger problem. If you try to understand the concept with respect to a bigger problem, then it is very difficult to understand the concept. So that is the thing I follow actually. When I'm trying to understand any one concept, I'm trying to understand that concept with respect to very small problem. Then I apply what the knowledge I understand, what the concept I understand for the bigger problem later after understanding it completely. So for that purpose, in order to understand why we need optimization technique for the machine learning perspective, we need to understand the operation of one machine learning model. I have taken very simple machine learning model that is called simple linear regression model. So already you may studied simple linear regression model in your first previous course, but you can see what is the difference from what you learned in the previous and what you're going to learn now. Now first we will discuss about simple linear regression model. Simple linear regression model. Simply, I will call it as the SLR model. Simple linear regression model. I want to explain. Maybe you all aware of all those things, but I want to move in a smooth flow. I will start with again simple linear regression model. So, what is the purpose of the simple linear regression model? The simple linear regression model will help us to predict an output Y for a single input X. The simple linear regression model will help to predict a single output from a single input. Single output and single input. So for the simple linear regression model, your data will be looks like one input and one output. One input and one output. Maybe you solve some problems in your course project also by using simple linear regression model. Simple linear regression model will help you to predict an output from a single input. To predict an output from a single input. I will give one real-time example where we can use the simple linear regression model. Let us assume. So friends, if my terms are related to some electrical terms, but try to see it as some numerical data. That's it. Some numerical data like that. Suppose my problem is I am going to predict electrical load at a particular hour of the day on a substation based on the load available at the same time but one day before. If my problem is I am going to estimate load on a particular substation at 12 p.m. today. Now it is 11:30. I am going to estimate the load on the substation 12 p.m. today. Load is generally in terms of megawatts, 2 megawatts, 3 megawatts, 4 megawatts. Okay, I am going to estimate the load on a substation at a particular hour of the day at 12 p.m. based on the load available at yesterday 12 p.m. Based on the load available at yesterday 12 p.m. So if that is the approach for me, then I may go with simple linear regression model because I am going to estimate one output from one input. I am going to estimate the load at 12 p.m. based on the load available at 12 p.m. yesterday. The load is available at 12 p.m. yesterday. Based on this value, I am going to predict what the load will be at 12 p.m. today. One output and one input. So for such type of problems, you may go with the simple linear regression model, one output and one input problem. Okay, so one output and one input problem, then we will go with the simple linear regression model. So I am taking a small simple linear regression model for ease of understanding, the concepts. Okay, so we'll go so you can understand everything slowly. At end, if you have any doubt, you can ask. So now, what the simple linear regression model will do is it trying to build a model, a mathematical model, to estimate an output Y based on input X. Dear students, if you choose any machine learning model, backend will be supported by some mathematical relation between the input and output. Really, if you want to learn about artificial intelligence and machine learning, you must be confident in the mathematics. It's not simply using the libraries, backend some mathematics is there. So every machine learning model, you can take a simple linear regression model, multivariable regression model, polynomial regression model, logistic regression model, or decision trees, SVM, artificial neural networks, whatever it may be, that backend will be supported by some mathematics. Okay. Simple linear regression model also, that simple linear regression model also supported by some mathematical modeling background. What is the mathematical model background behind the simple linear regression model is? So that is y equal to mx plus c. This is the mathematical background behind the simple linear regression model, where x is the input, when y is the output. Y is the output, where M and C are called as model parameters. Based on the M and C values, your model will be changes. So the mathematical model behind a simple linear regression model is a simple line equation. We are trying to find a line which has the minimum distance from all the data points. And this line equation will help you to predict an output for a given input. Okay, so this is the mathematical modeling, and this y is called as a yp. We are going to predict the output by using this line equation. That's why I called it as a yp, predicted, where y is the actual value that is coming from the data. Y is called as the actual value coming from the data, where x is the input, and whereas yp equal to predicted value. Simple linear regression model predict an output for an input using a simple line equation. That line equation is mx plus c, and the model parameters are m and c. Slowly we will move. You can understand everything. Let's assume my dataset has the 4 samples. So if I draw the 4 samples on a two-dimensional plane, x and y, let's assume x and y. So let's assume these are the data points. So these are the data points like this, and like this. These are the 4 data points, let's assume. Now, what simple linear regression model will do is, it is trying to find a line which has the minimum distance, from all the data points. So your simple linear regression model, a perfect simple linear regression model, which has the minimum distance from all the data points. You can't take a line from here as a simple linear regression model, which has the distance will be more from all the data points. So it will be the false line if this model is not correct. If you suggest this model, which is represented by a line equation m1 into x plus c1, then this model will not be suggestible, because this model is far away from the data points. So simple linear regression model will try to find a linear equation mx plus c which has the minimum distance from all the training data samples. Suppose if I have a 4 training data samples, so you have to find a line. Mx plus c, which has the minimum distance from all the data points. That line equation is a simple LSLR model for you, simple linear regression model for you, and this line equation will help to predict some output for a given input. Okay. So once again, I draw this equation. We draw this plot here separately, and these are the data points, and this is the line which has the minimum distance from all the data points. That is the yp equal to mx plus c. The position of the line is varying with respect to the parameters m and c. I think you can agree. The m and c values are changes, then the position of the line also changes. Because of that reason, I called m and c are the model parameters. Now your model will be changes with respect to your model parameters m and c. Suppose if your value m equal to 1 and c equal to 0, then your line equation will be a line which is passing through the origin. If m equal to something, if m equal to 1 and c equal to -1, then your line will be like this. If m equal to 1 and c equal to -1, your line will be like this, your model will be like this. If m equal to 1, c equal to 0, your model will be like this. Okay. So there is a different, where different models are exist, different linear regression models are exist, and these models will change with respect to your model parameters m and c values. Finally, which is the best model? That is, which has the minimum distance from all the data points, with the line which has the minimum distance from all the data points. I hope you all know, I think you all know, you studied about all this, but I'm trying to repeat that one. So simple linear regression model is nothing but a single line equation which has the minimum distance from all the data points. You have to find that line. You have to find that line which has the minimum distance from all the data points. Which has the minimum distance from all the data points. You have to find that line. How we can find that line? For that we require optimization. I will let you know. We will go to the optimization later slowly. But as of now, a simple linear regression model is nothing but a simple line equation which has the minimum distance from the data point in the training data. So finally, if your data points are these 4 data points, then your model must be like this. Your simple linear regression model must be represented by a line like this. Okay, you can't use this model, this simple linear regression model m equal to 1, c equal to -1, because this line is far away from the data points. And you also can't use this line also, m equal to 1, c equal to 0, because this is also far away from the data points. So if you choose this line, it's okay, because it has a less variation, a minimum distance from all the data points. Hope you get it right. Now, so every point on the line will use the called as a predictive value. The points on the line will represent the predictive values. Okay. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Otherwise, someone, I got some voice background, so mute yourself, please. If you have any questions, you can unmute it and ask me. If you don't have any questions, please mute yourself. So these are 4 points, right? Data points, 4 data points. Yeah. And let us assume you have to find a SLR model which has a minimum distance from all the data points. So let us assume this is the minimum distance from all the data points. This line is represented as yp equal to m into x plus c. M and c are called as the model parameters. This is depending upon the slope of the line and its y intercept. You have to find the line which has the minimum distance from all the data points. See, all these data points will represent the actual y values. All these data points for x, for this x1, this is the actual value of y1. For this x2, this is the actual value of y2. For this x3, x4, so this is the actual value of y4. These are the actual values. And these are the actual values. And if this is the linear regression model for x1, this point represents the predicted value. For x2, this point represents the predicted value. For x4, this point represents the predicted value. So all the points on the line will represent the predicted values, whereas all the blue lines are called as the actual values. So what the main goal of simple linear regression model is, it's trying to find a line which has a minimum distance, minimum error from the actual value, or a minimum distance from the actual values. So if it is the actual value, this is the distance between the actual value and the predicted value. And this is the actual value, this is the difference between the actual value and predicted value. If this is the actual value, this is the difference between the actual value and predicted value. We are trying to minimize the distance. We have to find a line which has a minimum distance from all the data points. So how we compute the distance between these two? We can compute the distance as this is the predicted value and this is the actual value. So actual value coming from the data y minus yp predicted value, and yp is coming from mx plus c, because yp is nothing but a point on the line. for corresponding x value. If you want to calculate the yp, which is the point on the line corresponding x value, then you can use this equation mx plus c, right? So the difference between these two is called as the error or distance. This is the predicted value and this is the actual value. The difference between these two is called as the error or the distance between the 2 points, predicted point and actual point. In order to keep the value as a positive, just I am making the square here. Just I am making the square here. Okay. And what I told? So I have to find a line based on the model parameters m and c. The line which has the minimum distance from all the data points. Minimum distance from all the data points. Here with respect to the first data point I have written. With respect to the first data point I have written. Similarly, for the second data point, third data point, and fourth data point, you have to write. Like, so y1, that is the actual value from the data, minus y1p, that is the predicted value, this is called y1p. The point on the line corresponding to the first sample input x1. So that is the y1p whole square. Similarly, for the remaining samples also, plus for second sample y2 minus y2p whole square, plus third sample y3 minus y3p whole square, plus fourth sample y4 minus y4p whole square. So this is the total distance from all the data points. y1 minus y1p whole square means the distance between these two. y2 minus y2p whole square means distance between the y2 actual value and the predicted value y2p. Predicted value is the point on the line for the corresponding x. And y4 minus y4p means it is the y4 actual and y4p is the predicted value on the line for the fourth data sample. So that's the total distance. That's the total distance. A total error or total distance from the line or simple linear regression model line from the actual data points. Now how we can write this expression? Sigma I equal to 1 to ns. Ns is number of samples. Here I consider the 4 samples. So I have taken the 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 samples. So by default I am calling it as a ns. Ns is the number of samples. yi, that is the actual value for the first sample for our ith sample minus predicted value for the ith sample whole square. This is the equation I have generalized like this. Generalized like this. So my goal is I am trying to find the values of m and c which decide the position of the line equation or position of your linear regression model, which has a minimum distance, from the actual values, So minimum distance from the actual values, you have to minimize this one. You have to minimize the error. You have to minimize the complete error. So this is called as error. This is called as total error. Total error means actual value minus predicted value. This is called the total error, total square error. And still I am modifying the small thing, that is for this term I am multiplying with 1 by ns. So what it will be? 1 by ns into sigma equal to 1 to ns yi minus yip whole square. Yi is the actual value, yip is the predicted value, whole square, that is called as square value, square error, summation, sum of the squares divided by total number of samples. So this is called as mean square error. Mean square error. Now my goal is I want to minimize this error. So that I can find a line. Which has a minimum distance, and the line will be depending upon your parameters m and c. The position of the line will be depending upon your parameters m and c. So still I can modify this equation as minimize error equal to 1 by ns sigma I equal to 1 to ns yi, this is the actual value coming from the data, minus y predicted, this one, m into xi minus ci whole square. See, actually we start to understand simple linear regression model. But where we landed, so we landed in a optimization problem. Why it is called as an optimization problem? So our optimization, why it is the optimization problem? we are trying to minimize the error. We are trying to minimize the error. If you choose any machine learning model, not simple in expert, any machine learning model, what we will do? Suppose this is the machine learning model. You will feed some input and you will get some output, and this output is compared with your actual output, and you will get the error, and you are trying to update your model parameters so that this error will be minimized. So this is the supervised learning. The supervised learning, you require the optimization method. Why you require the optimization method, optimization techniques? Because you are trying to update the model parameters of a machine learning model. That model parameters may be M1, M2 like that, or in case of the ANN to be weights W1, W2 like that. So you are going to update your model parameter such that the difference between the actual output and predicted output, that nothing but the error will be minimized. The error will be minimized. Okay, so now finally, what I want to convey with you is you are going to minimize the error. You are going to minimize the error. That's equal to 1 by ns, sigma I equal to 1 to ns, yi minus m into xi minus ci whole. You are trying to minimize this error and find the model parameters m and c. Trying to find the model parameters m and c. You are trying to model parameter m and c. So you have to run the train. So during the training, what happened? Nothing but during the training, you are slowly updating your model parameters m and c so that your error will be minimized. Your error will be minimized. Right? So because of that reason, we need to discuss about the optimization techniques. We need to discuss about the optimization techniques. Why we need optimization techniques? Optimization techniques are used to solve the optimization problem. Optimization problem is defined as maximization or minimization of any objective function or any error function. So here my problem is minimize my error function. Minimize my error function. So now it is a optimization problem. So if it is an optimization problem, to solve this optimization problem, I require some optimization techniques. The optimization technique which is used in machine learning is called as gradient descent algorithm. The optimization technique most generally used for the machine learning models to train the machine learning model to update the machine learning model parameters. That optimization technique is the gradient descent algorithm. So gradient descent algorithm is the most powerful optimization technique which is used in the machine learning to train the machine learning model or to update the machine learning model parameters so that the error or the difference between the actual value and predicted value will be minimized. Actual value and predicted value will be minimized. So if the model parameter is updated, why the error will be decreases? Because the error is depending upon the model parameters m and c only. You have to update your m and c values during the training algorithm using the specific optimization method so that the error will be minimized. That will happen during the training process of any machine learning model, any supervised machine learning model. During the supervised machine learning model, we are updating the model parameters. If it is simple linear regression model, we have the only two model parameters m and c. Based on these two model parameters m and c, the position of your line will be changes, and finally it will be landed at some position where it has the minimum distance from all the actual data points. So the position of your machine learning simple linear regression model, the position of the line will be depending upon your model parameters m and c. So you have to choose that model parameters m and c where it has a minimum distance from all the data points. Those m and c values are required. The value of m and c where the error will be minimum. So to find that m and c values, to find that minimum error value, you require optimization technique. I am confident that you understand what mean by optimization, what optimization technique is used for the machine learning perspective, why optimization technique is required for the machine learning perspective. That's the thing we discussed for the around last 30 minutes. For the last 30 minutes, I discussed what mean by optimization problem. The optimization problem is nothing but maximization or minimization of any object. That object of anything. That may be a minimization of error, or minimization of a cost, or maximization of a profit. Any problem related to the either maximization or minimization of a particular object is called as optimization problem. I think you understand the definition. Second thing, why you required optimization, why you see the machine learning training with respect to the optimization problem. Sir, we are discussing about the machine learning training and everything. Why you are telling the optimization problem? Because during the machine learning model training, during the training of your machine learning model, you are going to update your model parameters so that your model able to predict a value close to your actual value. Close to your actual value means the difference between the actual value and predicted value, and the error between the actual value and predicted value will be minimum. So you have to minimize your error. You have to minimize the difference between the actual value and the predicted value by updating your model parameter M and C if you take simple linear regression model. You have to update your model parameters M and C so that the error or the difference between the actual value and predicted value will be minimized. So we are landed in the optimization problem. Why we are in the optimization problem zone? Because we are trying to minimize error function, E by updating the decision variables M and C, or by updating the model parameters M and C. So it is an optimization problem now. So training of a machine learning model is nothing but a optimization problem. So now we are in the optimization problem. Okay, you have an optimization problem. Now how you solve this optimization problem? How you will find the minimum objective function? How you will find the most optimum model parameter values where you get the minimum error? That is depending upon which type of optimization technique, optimization algorithm you are using. Which type of optimization technique or optimization algorithm you are using. Okay, so in machine learning perspective, the most powerful optimization algorithm or optimization technique using is a gradient descent algorithm. So now we will move to the gradient descent algorithm. I hope you understand why we require gradient descent algorithm. I am explained with respect to the simple linear regression model for easy of understanding. Same thing can be applicable for the machine learning model. Please, if you have any doubt, please. I hear some voice. If you want to ask any questions, if you are unable to understand, please let me know. We will discuss something. So during the training, what happened is initially your model parameters will be randomly initialized, and slowly you have to update your model parameters. When you are updating your model parameters, the position of the line will be changes, and finally you have to identify a proper line equation which has the minimum distance from the actual values, which has the minimum error from the actual values. So minimum error, minimize the difference or distance between the actual value and predicted value. So now it's called as an optimization. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you have any doubt, you can let me know. Why I am instructing again and again, I am telling small things because I will not write any code. You have to write the code for every assignment and may not be available. So I will do the mathematical perspective. So you have to apply your coding skills and you have to build your own code, not libraries, and you have to solve the problems using your machine learning perspective, not using the libraries. You have to understand that thing. Because at present only I am telling a line by line and everything. If you are unable to understand, please let me know. You can unmute yourself. please let me know. If you understand, then we will move further. Okay. Fine. Good. You understand. Okay, fine. Hope you understand the concept. Now we will discuss about the gradient descent algorithm. Now come back to the machine learning perspective again, how this gradient descent algorithm will help us to update the model parameter. So first, for the next 30 minutes, we are going to discuss about the gradient descent algorithm with a very small problem again. As I said initially, if you're trying to understand any concept, you have to start with a very small problem and understand the concept, then you can apply it anywhere, whatever may be the problem side there. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about the gradient descent algorithm. Yep. So now we are going to discuss about gradient descent algorithm. GDA, gradient descent algorithm. Now we will discuss. Friends, gradient descent algorithm will works powerful if your objective function is a pure convex or concave function. I told the optimization problem is nothing but either maximization or minimization of an objective function. If your objective function is a pure convex function, then most powerful optimization algorithm is gradient descent optimization algorithm. If your objective function is a convex function. So why it is most powerful for a convex function and how it will work, I will let you know. Let's assume my objective function is, minimize f of x equal to x square. Let's assume minimize f of x equal to x square. So maybe you know about how the f of x equal to x square line will looks like. So it will be like a parabolic equation like this. That means if the x values are positively increasing, then your f of x value increases. If x value is negatively increasing, then also your f of x value increases, right? In both cases, your f of x value will be increases. So such type of functions are called as convex function. This type of function is called as U-shaped functions. Those functions are called as convex functions, or parabolic functions are called as convex functions. Okay, so the convex function has one minimum point. It has only one minimum. Tell me.
Sir, x value negative ఉన్నా కానీ స్క్వేర్ వల్ల మళ్ళీ పాజిటివ్ అయితే
అవునన్నా
ఇక్కడ మళ్ళీ నెగటివ్ సైడ్ కూడా తీసుకున్నారు.
అబ్జర్వ్ చేయలేదు కదా మీరు. చూడండి ఫంక్షన్ if x equal to -2, so -2 whole square, that's equal to 4. It is a 4. If x equal to 2, okay na? So that is a 4. 2 square 4. So either it is a positive. In both cases, it is a positive. F of x value is a positive in both cases. F of x value is positive. We are not going to rewrite. Okay. So I will rewrite separately. So this is the convex function, and this is the f of x value, and this is the x value. Now I am trying to minimize the function f of x. That means I want to find the minimum value of f of x, and I want to find the value of x at which we will get the minimum value. At which we are getting this minimum value. We know no need to go for the gradient descent approach by seeing this one. So we know that by seeing this one, when the x equal to 0, we will get the minimum value of f of x, that's equal to 0. But if we apply gradient descent algorithm, how it will work and whether it reaches that x equal to 0 point or not, we have to check. Okay, so my optimization problem is minimize f of x equal to x square. My problem is minimize f of x equal to x square. So I can call it as a optimization problem. I can call it as a optimization problem. Now, how I will solve this optimization problem by using gradient descent algorithm. So these are looks very simple, but it is required. Okay, I think you understand your optimization problem. I have an objective function. That objective function f of x equal to x square, and I want to minimize that objective function. I want to minimize that f of x. That means I want to find the minimum value of f of x, and also I want to find the value of x at which I will get the minimum value of f of x. That is my goal. So if your objective function is like this, then your objective function will be pictorially represented in this direction like a convex function. So your objective function is a convex function. Convex function is nothing but a U-shaped function which has only one optimal point or minimum point. That is called as a convex function. Convex function is a U type of function. It has only one optimal point, only one minimum point. That minimum point is called as a global minimum point. Only one minimum point it has. It has only one minimum point. Such type of functions are called as a convex function. Suppose if your function is like this, it is not a convex function. It has a multiple minimum points. It's a multiple minimum points. It's here and here and here. So this is the one bottom peak point. This is another bottom peak point, and this is another bottom peak point. And these points are called as local minimum points, whereas this point is called as global minimum point. Whereas in case of the convex functions, your local minimum and global minimum points are same. Local minimum and global minimum points are same. Simply, if you try to remember how complex function looks like, it looks like a U curve, which has only one bottom point, which has only one minimum point. That point is also called as a global minimum point. In convex function, local minimum and global minimum will be same. Whereas in the non-convex functions, you have the multiple local minimum points, out of which is the minimum value that is called as a global minimum point. It's called as a global minimum point. Gradient descent algorithm will work well for pure convex functions which has only global optimum, global minimum point. So here I have considered an objective function of x equal to x square, and I want to identify where I will get the minimum value of x. And by seeing this curve, if f of x equal to x square, your curve will be looks like this, right? If it is a 1 square, that's equal to 1. If it is a minus 1 square, that's equal to 1. So this is the point at 1, and this is the point at this is a point at minus 1. This is a point at 2, this is a point at minus 2, at 4 volts. And this is a point at 3, and this is a point at minus 3, both are at the point 9. And this is the 4, and this is the 1, like that. Okay, so your points will be like this. Okay, so like that your function, your convex function looks like a parabolic shape. Okay. Second thing, if you want to find, suppose y equal to, if f of x equal to mx plus c, if f of x equal to mx plus c, and m is called as slope. So how we get the slope from the equation? From the equation, how we can get the slope? So we can get the slope m from the equation if you are able to differentiate your function with respect to your variable. If I differentiate function f with respect to variable x, then what I get? Yeah, that means if we have an equation, and if you want to find the slope of the equation at a particular point, then what you have to do? You have to find the first order derivative of that function with respect to the variable at that point. If you calculate the first order derivative with respect to the variable for that function, then you will get the slope. If you have any line equation, if you have any polynomial curve equation, and if you want to find the slope of the curve at any particular point, then what you have to do? You have to differentiate that function with respect to the variable. It will directly give the slope at that point. That is. Suppose if your line is a f of x, right, and this is a x, right. Suppose if your line equation is parallel to your variable, if your line equation is parallel to your variable axis, if your line equation is parallel to the variable axis, suppose it is a 4, then you can call f of x equal to 4. Then what will be the slope of that line? Dou f by dou x equal to 0. That means the slope of the line which is parallel to your variable, that is the 0. Very good. That is the 0. Okay. Now, why I am telling all those things? So from this discussion, you have to understand one thing. That is, if you want to compute slope of a line or slope of a curve at any particular point, just simply calculate the first order derivative of that function with respect to the variable. At that point, it will give the slope directly. From this equation, you can understand. Okay, so why I am telling these computation of the slope with respect to the first order derivative, I will let you know. So all the things are required. Slope calculation, everything is required in case of the gradient descent algorithm. You can understand slowly. And if you have any doubt, please let me know, because this is the required things. Fine. I will draw this convex function again separately now. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So this is the curve represent f of x equal to x square. F of x equal to x square. Okay. Now, f of x, and this is x square. So I want to find the minimum value of f of x. So the object function will be varying like this, and I want to find the minimum value of f of x. I know it is a 0, but how we get this point 0 by using gradient descent algorithm, we are going to discuss. Fine. Tell me, friends, suppose if I want to calculate slope of this equation at the bottom corner of this point, at this bottom point. So what will be the slope at this point? At this point, what will be the slope? How we can calculate the slope at this point? F of x equal to x square. If you want to compute the slope of an equation, slope of a curve at any point, then what you have to do? You have to differentiate that equation which represents the curve with respect to the variable. So dou f by dou x, that's equal to 2x. That's equal to 2x. So if you take any point on the positive x-axis, slope at any point on the positive x-axis side is a positive, right? Suppose if you want to compute, let's assume this is the 6, this is 5, this is 4, let's assume. I want to compute the slope of this curve at point x equal to 6. If you want to compute the slope of this curve at point x equal to 6, then slope will be dou f by dou x, calculate the derivative dou f by dou x, that's equal to x equal to 6, that is the 2 into 6, that's equal to 12. So it is a positive slope. Slope is positive. If you consider this point at x equal to 5, what will be the slope? 2 into 5, that's equal to 10, it is a positive. So for all the positive x values, you are getting a positive slope. For all the positive x values, you are getting a positive slope. Now what about this point, at the minimum point, at the bottom point, at x equal to 0, what will be the slope? So here at the bottom point, your slope will be parallel to your variable. So at the bottom point, what will be the slope? Dou f by dou x equal to 2 into x, that is the 2 into 0, that's equal to 0. That means slope will be 0. Slope will be 0 at the bottom point of our convex function. at the global optimum point, at the global optimum level, or at the bottom level of your convex function, your slope will be 0. You can take any convex function. I will take one more convex function like x minus 2 whole square plus 4. X minus 2 whole square plus 4. So that convex function will be looks like this. At x equal to 2, the value equal to 4. At x equal to, at value equal to 4. When x value is increasing beyond the 4 or this one, the value will be increases like this. If you observe this type of convex function, see at the bottom point at 2, what will be the gradient? What is the gradient? If it is the f of x, what is the gradient or slope? Dou f by dou x, that's equal to 2 into x minus 2. Dou f by dou x equal to 2 into x minus 2. So at x equal to 2, at the bottom, 2 into 2 minus 2, that's equal to 0. So again, at the bottom point, your slope equal to 0. Okay. So forget about the complete, just for a while, we will stop this mathematical background. I want to conclude all the things what I am convinced to you. Suppose if your objective function is a pure convex function, then you can use gradient descent optimization algorithm perfectly. What we mean by the convex function? So convex function is nothing but which has only one minimum point, that is at the bottom of the function. Your function will be looks like U shape. Your function will be looks like a U shape, and the bottom of the function, the bottom point, you have only one point at the bottom level, which has only one minimum value. You have only one minimum value. Such type of functions are called as convex function. For any convex function, if you want to calculate the slope at any point on the convex function, if you have a curve, U-shaped curve, you have a U-shaped curve, and you want to calculate the slope at any particular value, at a particular point on the curve, you want to calculate slope at any particular point on the curve, then what you have to do? You have to calculate gradient, or you have to calculate first order derivative of your objective function with respect to the variable. At that point, it will give the slope, because I give an expression y equal to mx plus c. If you differentiate the function with respect to the variable, then it will give the slope. It will give the slope. So if you want to compute the slope at any point on the curve, then simply calculate the first order derivative or gradient of the function at that point. It will give the slope at that point. So if you see the convex function like this, for all the positive values of x, you will get the gradient as a positive. For all the negative values of x, you will get the negative gradient, negative slope. Why you are getting the negative slope? Because your gradient is 2x, right? When x equal to minus 2, then your gradient will be minus 4. When x equal to minus 3, your gradient will be minus 6. So it is a negative slope. Whereas in the positive slope side, positive x values, when you have the x equal to 2, you have the 2 into 2, 4, positive slope. When x equal to 3, you have the 2 into 3, 6, positive slope. So this is the region where you are getting the negative slopes, and this is the region where you are getting the positive slopes, and you will get the zero slopes at the minimum point. At the minimum point, at the minimum value of your objective function, at the minimum value of objective function, at the bottom part of your objective function, you will get the slope 0, whereas this side you have the positive slope, whereas this side you have the negative slope. Okay, so finally, what the gradient descent algorithm is doing is it trying to come toward the zero slope point. It trying to come toward the zero slope point. I will help you how it will come, how it will work, gradient descent algorithm. Okay, now, so try to understand simple gradient descent algorithm. So in today's class, I will concentrate on only gradient descent algorithm. From tomorrow, how the gradient descent algorithm will help us to update the model parameters. But try to concentrate well, friends. If you have any doubt, you can call me or you can ask me in the class itself. But try to understand. Okay. So how gradient descent algorithm will work is, in the gradient descent algorithm, first step is you have to randomly initialize your variable to some value. Okay, if you want to apply gradient descent algorithm to solve an optimization problem, then you have to randomly initialize your decision variable or variable with a random value, with a random value. Okay, let's assume step one, you have to initialize your decision variable, with a random value. My variable in this object function is x. My variable in this object function is x. So I have to randomly initialize the value x equal to 2. I don't know at what value of x I will get the minimum objective function. Actually, I know, let us do, I don't know. I know at x equal to 0, I will get the minimum value of f of x that's equal to 0. I know. But meanwhile, I think that I don't know where it is. Randomly I'm picking a one point in the convex function. And slowly I want to move at the bottom point. How it will come towards the bottom point, we have to discuss. So how the gradient descent algorithm will work is, first step in the gradient descent algorithm is you have to randomly initialize your variable. Your variable is x. So you have to initialize random value to that x. So I am initializing a random value x equal to, or you can use some other random value. I am initializing a random value x equal to 2. So what is the next step? Next step is you have to calculate the gradient. You have to calculate the gradient of that function at that point x equal to. You have to compute the gradient of that function at that point x equal to. So gradient is the first order derivative of your objective function. Understood? So you can calculate gradient of the function dou f by dou x at x equal to 2. That's equal to 2x at x equal to 2. That's equal to 4. That means, let us assume if it is a 4, if x equal to, I will choose x equal to 6. Let us assume I will choose x equal to 6 at x equal to 6. So at x equal to 6, at x equal to 6 is equal to 12. So at this point, my slope equal to 12. At this point, my slope equal to 12. Suppose, let us assume, suppose if your randomly initialized value is x equal to minus 6. Suppose randomly initialized value x equal to minus 6 somewhere here. Suppose I don't know, randomly initialized, the value will be randomly initialized. That may be a 6 or minus 6, 4 or minus 4, 3, whatever it may be in the set space. You have to randomly initialize one value. Suppose if your randomly initialized value for the variable x equal to minus 6, suppose x equal to minus 6, then what will be the gradient at this point? What will be the gradient at this point? So that's equal to dou f by dou x at x equal to minus 6. That's equal to 2 into x at x equal to minus 6. That's equal to minus 12. So here your slope equal to minus 12. That means in this region you have the negative slope and in this region you have the positive slope. But what is my goal? What is my goal? I want to slowly move towards this bottom point where my convex function has a minimum value. Where my convex function has a minimum value, I want to reach that set. So what the gradient descent algorithm will do is, whatever the point you are initialized, whatever the value you are initialized for your variable, if it is a x equal to 6, you are in the positive slope side. When if it is x equal to minus 6, you are in the negative slope side. Whatever it may be, if your initial value is a positive slope, then it is trying to move towards the negative slope side. It's trying to move toward the negative slope side. And finally, it lands at the zero slope side. At the 0 point, it will be landed. So gradient descent algorithm will try to update your point such that its gradient value will be decreased. 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 Decrease and finally lands at the zero gradient. Zero gradient means that is the minimum point. Okay, suppose your slope is negative. If it is a slope is negative, so then also it is trying to move towards the positive slope side. Your gradient will be decreases, and finally lands at zero gradient point. That process will be taken care by gradient descent algorithm. So simply I'm telling, gradient descent algorithm, it randomly initializes one point in the search space. At that point, calculate the slope, and the point will be updated. The slope will be reduced until it reaches to zero slope. Why zero slope? Convex function has a zero slope at the optimal point, at the bottom point. Okay, if it is a positive slope, if your point initial point is in the positive slope region, it tries to reduce toward the negative side and landed at the zero slope. If it is in the negative slope side, it's random value, maybe a positive or negative, random value. If your point is in the negative slope side, it tries to move toward the positive slope side, and finally landed at the zero slope or at the minimum point. How this will be happened? How this will be acted in gradient descent algorithm? So what is the step-by-step procedure for the gradient descent algorithm? We will discuss now. We will discuss the step-by-step procedure for the gradient descent algorithm. Okay. So friends, try to understand the step-by-step procedure for the gradient descent algorithm. Same, almost similar process will be applicable for the next 10 classes. For the next 10 classes, this type of procedure I am applying for all the things for the next 10 sessions. So what is the first step in case of the gradient descent algorithm? GDA, gradient descent algorithm. Step 1, it's not a machine learning perspective, general optimization problem related, not machine learning perspective. First thing is initialize variables. Initialize variables. Now, if I am trying to minimize f of x equal to x square, let us do f of x equal to x square. Now, initialize the variable x randomly. Initialize the variable x randomly. Any point in the search space, either in the negative x, either in the positive x, you have to choose one x value randomly. Let's assume I am choosing randomly. I am choosing x equal to 4. Randomly, I am choosing x equal to 4. Next, what is the step 2? What the next step in the gradient descent algorithm is? So I will draw this curve also parallelly to understand this algorithm. So this is the f of x, and this is the x square. So I am choosing the point x equal to 4 randomly. So this is the point x equal to 4. This is the point x equal to 4. I am choosing the point x equal to 4 randomly. Now what happened? Second step is calculate gradient or slope or derivative, first order derivative of your objective function at random point what you choose initially. So what is the gradient? How you can calculate the gradient? So gradient, that's equal to dou f by dou x, first order derivative. At that initial point, we have to compute. So dou f by dou x equal to 2 into x. 2 into x. So at that point x equal to 4, your gradient will be dou f by dou x will be 2 into 4, that's equal to 8. Understood to here, okay? Second step is simply calculate the gradient of your objective function or slope of your objective function curve at a initially assumed point. By calculating the first order derivative. So this is the second step. You have to compute your gradient. Now what is the step 3? So what is the step 3? So step 3 is you have to find the change in variable value. So how we can calculate the change in variable value? The change in variable value will be that initially your variable is here, right? So your variable may move toward the increasing slope side or may move toward the decreasing the slope side. That moves toward the positive slope side or that moves toward the negative slope side. but you have to take care of your point will be moved toward the negative slope side. Your slope will be decreasing. You have to update your point. You have to update your point such that your point will be moved toward the negative slope side, or your point will be moved such that slope will be decreased. The slope will be decreased. That means your step length is depending upon the negative gradient dou f by dou x. Why negative gradient? You have to move the, you have to update your variable toward the opposite slope side. If your slope is positive, you have to move toward the negative slope side. If your slope is negative, you have to try toward the positive slope side. You have to try to decrease your slope. You have to try to decrease your slope. That's why I'm taking the negative sign here. Your step length is depending upon your slope, but in the negative direction. If it is in the positive slope side, try to move toward the negative slope side. If it is in the negative slope side, try to move toward the positive slope side, and finally it reaches at the bottom point where the slope is zero. Where the slope is zero. Okay, so to move, to update your variable in that direction from the positive to negative or negative to positive, I am keeping the negative sign here. So your change in variable value, is proportional to minus gradient. And constant proportionality, I can take delta x equal to minus eta dou f by dou x. This eta is called as learning rate. That learning rate eta will decide how much step length it will take. It will take small step length, or it will take large step length from here to here. How much step length it will take, in which direction you have to take, that is depending upon the distance, and how much step length it has to take, magnitude point of view, that can be taken care by this learning rate eta. This slope negative gradient will help you to move the point in which direction. ఏ డైరెక్షన్ లో మనం పాయింట్ మూవ్ చేయాలి అనేది డిసైడెడ్ బై యువర్ నెగటివ్ గ్రేడియంట్, బట్ హౌ మచ్ స్టెప్ లెంత్ ఇట్ విల్ బి టేకెన్ కేర్, దట్ విల్ బి టేకెన్ కేర్ బై యువర్ లెర్నింగ్ రేట్ ఈటా. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు
సార్ అజ్యూమ్ వాల్యూ నెగటివ్ తీసుకోండి.
చెప్పండి.
అజ్యూమ్ వాల్యూ నెగటివ్ తీసుకుంటే అప్పుడు పాజిటివ్ తీసుకోవాలి.
So I have some disturbance, but what I understand from you is, sir, if you random initial value is negative, then what happens? Antena?
Yes.
So
yes, sir.
Yeah. If it is a 4, right? If it is 4, right, then you will have the positive slope. Then you are trying to move toward the negative slope because you are taking the minus sign here. X equal to 4 అనుకున్నానా, ఈ slope is positive to the 8. Then you have to move toward the negative slope side, minus 8, toward the negative slope side you are trying to move. If suppose if you take x equal to minus 4, if you take x equal to minus 4, then what happens? X equal to minus 4 means your slope equal to minus 8, negative slope. But you are trying to move toward the positive slope, that can be taken care by this minus sign here. Minus into minus plus 8. So you are trying to move toward the positive slope side. So this minus sign will help you in which slope direction you want to move. You want to move toward the positive slope side, or you want to move toward the negative slope side. If your value is a positive value, then it's a minus 8. You are trying to move toward the negative slope side. If your value is a negative slope value, minus 8 into minus plus 8, then you have to move toward the positive slope side. This is the positive slope region, this is the negative slope region. You have to move from here to here or here to here, that is defined by this one. Hello.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Okay. So this minus step will help you in which direction you need to update, you need to move your point. Suppose if your random point in the positive slope side, then you have to decrease your weight, decrease your slope, or move toward the negative slope side. If you are in the negative slope side, then you have to try to move in the positive slope side. So if you are in the negative slope region, then you have to try to move in the positive slope side. If you are in the positive slope region, you are trying to move towards the negative slope side. Finally, you are landing in this point. It's like suppose if you see one ball, and if you throw one ball from one end of your ball, then it will come bottom, right? So to take care of that one, we are using this step. We are using this step. So this will decide in which direction you have to move, but this eta term will decide how much step length, how much update you have taken. That is called as eta or called as a learning rate. Okay, so here initialize the variable random x equal to 4, and also you have to initialize the learning rate with some value between 0 to 1. With some value between the 0 to 1. So I am initializing my learning rate as eta equal to 0.1. As a eta value equal to 0.1. Now, if we implement this step, what happened in this case? So delta x equal to minus eta 0.1 into dou f by dou x. Dou f by dou x equal to 8. So that's equal to minus 0.8. My step length equal to minus 0.8. Okay. So what's the next step? Step 4. In the step 4, now you have to update your point. You have to update your point. Update the value of your variable. Update the value of your variable. So how we can update the value of your variable? X equal to previous x value plus change in x value. Previous x value and change in x value. So now if we apply this one, then what is the new value of x for this problem? So x equal to, what is the previous x value? 4. 4 plus what is the delta x value? Minus 0.8. Minus 0.8. That's equal to 3.2. See friends, initially I am starting at x equal to 4. Now new value is 3.2 somewhere here. 3.2 somewhere here. That means see, your point is slowly moving toward the 0 side. Slowly moving toward the 0 side and finally landed here. Finally landed. If I write again here, the same function, if I write here, initially I choose x equal to 4. Now my x value equal to 3.2. That's coming here as a 3.2. And sometime after next iteration it may come here. After iteration it may come here. After next iteration it may come here. Finally, it reaches to that bottom point, minimum point. So like that we can update your point. Once this updation is over, what you have to do? Step 5. And one more thing you have to do, you have to initialize iteration equal to 1. That means you are setting the first iteration. We are running the first iteration. Now you can update your iteration count, iter equal to iter plus 1. Okay, and you can define number of epochs or maximum number of iterations as 100, whatever it may be. Now you are incrementing your iteration, right? You are incrementing your iteration, right? So yeah. So next step is step 6 is after incrementing iteration, check for the convergence criteria. Convergence criteria is if number of iterations, if the current iteration after the increment, your current iteration greater than the number of epochs you defined initially. Number of epochs you defined initially. If it is satisfied or not. If it is true, the current iteration is greater than the number of iterations you initialized, 100 iterations, then go to next step. That means you are coming out of the loop now. You are coming out of the loop. If it is false, it's not satisfied. That means you are not reaching the maximum number of iterations. Then we need to go to step number 2 again. We are going to step number 2 again. Again, calculate the gradient, but at the new point. But at the new point. Initially, we calculate the gradient at x equal to 4. Now our new point is at x equal to 3.2. Now calculate the gradient at x equal to 3.2. Calculate the gradient at x equal to 3.2. Okay. So what is the last step? Step 7. So step 7 will come under. It's coming out of the loop. Next step is step 7.
Step 6.
Step 6, fine. So after updating your variable value, now increment your iteration. Increment your iteration. Now after iteration, you have to compare whether your loop runs for the number of iterations, maximum number of epochs you defined or not. That means మనం general code for I equal to 1 to 100 రాస్తాం కదా, like that. Whether your current iteration is greater than the maximum number of iterations you defined is reaches or not. You are checking here. If iter is greater than the 100 number of epochs you defined, that means you are running algorithm for the 100 epochs. Then you come out of the loop. If it is the fails, if it is false, if the current iteration is less than the maximum number of epochs you defined, then you go to again step 2. Again go to step 2. Again go to step 2. And now calculate the gradient. Second iteration now. We are in the second iteration now. Again calculate the gradient at the updated value. 3 point. So this process will be repeated until you reaches your number of epochs you receive. It reaches the maximum number of epochs you mentioned here.
What is EPO? That is we are not get. I am not getting it, sir. EPO something.
Okay. జనరల్గా మనం ఏదైనా ఒక ఇటరేటివ్ ఆల్గరిథంని మనము డెవలప్ చేస్తున్నాం అనుకోండి, ఆ ఇటరేటివ్ ఆల్గరిథం హౌ మెనీ టైమ్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రన్ దట్ ఇటరేటివ్ ఆల్గరిథం అనేది మనం డిఫైన్ చేయాలి ఫస్ట్. ఎన్నిసార్లు ఎన్ని ఇటరేషన్స్ మనం రన్ చేయాలి ఆ ఆల్గరిథంని, దాన్ని ఇక్కడ ఎపోక్స్ అని వేరియబుల్ పెట్టాం. ఎపోక్స్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ మ్యాక్సిమం నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఇటరేషన్స్. హౌ మెనీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఇటరేషన్స్ ఐ వాంట్ టు repeat all these 3 steps. How many iterations I have to repeat all these iterations, that is defined by number of epochs. Ikkademo 100 పెట్టాను అనుకోండి, that means I have to execute these 3 steps 100 times. Maybe first iteration లో మన పాయింట్ ఇక్కడ ఉంది అనుకోండి, after first iteration I will be landed here. This is that the iteration 1. In the iteration 2, so this is the point. Next iteration, after updation, this is the point of next iteration. Next iteration, this may be a point 4. Like that, at each iteration, it is slowly trying to come towards the bottom point. So, epochs anna, maximum number of iterations anna, manam develop chesina iterative algorithm, how many times it will run? How many times that iterative algorithm will run, we have to define. Your convergence criteria is based on the machine learning. Your convergence criteria is based on number of epochs or number of iterations. You have to define it initially before starting of your algorithm. Before starting of your algorithm, you have to define how many number of iterations you want to run your algorithm. Based on that, it will check. If you said number of epochs equal to 1, if you set number of epochs equal to 1 and your starting iteration is 1, in the step 5, iter equal to iter plus 1 means 1 plus 1, that's equal to 2. Now you compare here, 2 greater than number of epochs you define 1. Yes, it's true. Then go to next step. Otherwise, go to step. So epochs అంటే ఏమీ లేదమ్మా, ఈ మనం డిఫైన్ చేస్తున్న స్టెప్స్ అనేవి ఎన్నిసార్లు మనం రిపీట్ చేయాలి, ఎన్నిసార్లు ఆ స్టెప్స్ అనేవి మనం రిపీట్ చేయాలి, మనం ఆ నెంబర్ అయితే మనం డిఫైన్ చేయాలన్నమాట. హౌ మెనీ టైమ్స్ ఐ వాంట్ టు రిపీట్ దీస్ స్టెప్స్, 100 times, 200 times, 2 times, 5 times, how many times you want to run this algorithm iteratively. How many times you want to run this algorithm iteratively, you have to check it. Okay, so if I define epochs equal to 100, now current iteration is 2. Suppose if I set epochs equal to 100, now current iteration is 2. 2 greater than number of epochs 100. Is it satisfied? 2 greater than 100? No. If it is no, go to else statement. In the else statement, go to step 2. Step 2 ante entamma? Calculate gradient of objective function at the current point. Current point is 3 point. Initially we are at the x equal to 4. Now it is updated to 3.2. At this point, again calculate the gradient. Again calculate the step length. Again update your point. Then we move somewhere point like this. And again update your iteration. Iteration 3. Now check for iteration 3. 3 is greater than 100? No. Then go to step 2. Else statement, go to step 2. So definitely you can understand if we do the numerical calculation. If you do the numerical calculation, you will definitely understand how it will work. Okay, again we will do the numerical calculation, don't worry. So step 6 is over. In the step 7, it's the out of the loop. So iterative running algorithm is completed. In the step 7, what we have to do? Print the value of x and also compute the value of f of x, that is the at point x. So these two are this is the minimum value of f of x, and this is the value of x at which we will get the f of x is minimum. F of x is minimum. So friends, now I will do the numerical calculation. I can confident that you can understand how gradient descent algorithm will work with this numerical calculation. If you understand the gradient descent algorithm, rest of things are very easy. Same thing we are repeating. Now I am giving a small problem for you, that is minimize f of x equal to x square plus 5. So this is my optimization problem. Minimize f of x equal to x square plus 5. Okay, f of x equal to x square plus 5. So this is also a convex function. I think you can agree. This is a convex function. The function will be looks like this. At x equal to 0, the function value equal to 5. When x equal to 0, your function value equal to 5. When x is increases, then your function value increases. When x is increases toward the negative side, then also your function value increases. So this is the f of x, and this is the x. Okay. అమ్మ ఇందాక ఎవరో క్వశ్చన్ అడిగారు ఎవరమ్మండి?
సార్
మీ పేరేంటి?
కృష్ణ సాయి సార్.
కృష్ణ సాయి. కృష్ణ సాయి, please don't mind. I am asking the question so that sir asks the question. To make you understand, I want to interact with you for the next 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
As per our previous discussion, what is our first step?
Yes, sir. Initialize any random variable.
Perfect. So in the step 1, you have to initialize the variable with some random number. What is our variable in our objective function?
X square plus 5.
Objective function x square 5. And what is the variable?
X.
Perfect. So you have to initialize the random value for your variable with any random value. In Python, you can write a code np.random.uniform, some random value you have to generate. Okay. So x equal to, you have to choose a random value. You can take a negative value or a positive value, whatever it may be. So I am taking a random value 10. I am taking a random value 10. That means somewhere 10, I am taking the random value. So at this point 10, my object function is here, somewhere here, object function. Okay, Nana?
Yes, sir.
Krishna, fine. So what will be the next point? Next thing cheyalama?
Yes, sir. First order derivative find out.
No. Before that, we have to initialize all the things. You are initializing the variable. You are initializing the variable randomly. That's fine. And two more things we have to initialize. What is the two more things? Krishna, don't mind. We are like your friends. We are interacting. So we tell us a help change. So Krishna told that we have to initialize the variable value randomly. So I am initializing the variable value x randomly with 10. And the step 1 is completed, or anything we have to initialize?
Number of iterations and maximum number of iterations.
Yeah, perfect. That's called the maximum number of iterations we have to define. Let's assume, as I am doing the AND calculations, maximum number of epochs I am defining as 3. Only for AND calculation, because I am using the AND calculation, I can't do 100 iterations. But in the program, we have to use the large maximum number of iterations. Epoch is nothing but maximum number of iterations. Okay? In machine learning scenario, we are using a word called epochs. It's called maximum number of iterations. What else we have to initialize?
Learning rate.
Perfect. We have to initialize the learning rate eta. So I am initializing the learning rate eta equal to 0.1. It is the value between the 0 to 1. What is the impact of learning rate? I will discuss later. Perfect. So that's fine, Nana. So what is the next step? We have moved to the next step, step 2. So what you have to do, Nana? Any idea?
Derivative.
Perfect. So we have to calculate the gradient of your object function at the random initializing point. So you have to calculate the gradient dou f by dou x. That's equal to what is the dou f by dou x? That's equal to 2x. So we have to compute at the random variable, at that variable value. What is that? 2 into 10. That's equal to 20. Up to here, okay, Sai? Krishna?
Okay.
Fine. What is the next step? Step 3?
Find the changing variable values.
Good. So we have to find the changing variable value delta x. That's equal to minus eta dou f by dou x. That's equal to minus eta 0.1 and dou f by dou x value 20. So this value equal to minus 2. Okay, Naman?
Yes, sir.
What is the next step? Step 4.
Step 4, update the value.
Good,
Update the
good.
value of
So
the
we have to update the value x equal to x plus delta x. That means x equal to what is the x value? 10.
20.
Current x value 10. X value, na?
10, sir, 10.
Yeah, x value 10 and plus delta x value
-2.
-2. That's equal to 8. See, we are choosing the initial point as x. Now it is moving to point 8.
Yes, sir.
It is moving toward the bottom point. See how it is coming bottom. Okay. Step 4. Now what is the step 5? After updating
Step 5 is increment the iteration.
Perfect. So initially we set iter equal to 1. First iteration. This is the first iteration. So increment your iteration count. Iter equal to iter plus 1. That means 1 plus 1. That's equal to 2. Now we are moving to the second iteration. Okay, Krishna. Sai. So step
Yes,
6.
sir.
Check for convergence criteria here. Convergence criteria means whether we are reaching the maximum number of iterations or not. Whether we are reaching the maximum number of iterations or not, we have to check. So our
Yes,
current
sir.
iteration count is 2.
2.
Greater than number of epochs or not, we have to check. Iter is greater than epochs or not, we have to check now. Is it satisfied?
No, sir.
No.
False.
So yeah, false. If it's a false case, then we have to go to step
Yes.
number 2.
2.
Good. So now go to step 2 again. So what we have to do? Again gradient. So
Yes,
dou
sir.
f by dou x. Now we are in the second iteration now. We are in the second iteration. So dou f by dou x equal to 2 into x. That's equal to 2 into
8.
perfect. So we need to calculate the gradient at the new point. That's equal to 16. Next step 3. Find the change in length, step length. So delta x equal to minus eta dou f by dou x. That's equal to minus eta means 0.1. What the dou f by dou x value?
16.
Yeah, minus 1.6. Now go to step 4. Step 4 is the updation.
Change update.
Yeah, x equal to x plus delta x. That's equal to what the x value?
8, sir.
Good. The x value, previous x value, not initial x value. Okay, the previous x value is 8. So 8 plus delta x equal to minus 1.6. That's equal to 6.4. Right? So see,
Yes, sir.
we are in the 8. Now it is coming to 6.4.
Yes, sir.
Slowly moving down. So 6.4. Step 4 over. Now step 5 again. Step 5. That's equal to update iteration count. Iter equal to iter plus 1. That means what is the iteration count now?
2.
2
plus
plus 1. That's equal to 3. Good. Now check for the convergence criteria in the step 6. I will write step 6 here. In the step 6, check for the convergence criteria. If
3 is
greater than epoch or not. So what happened here? If iter value is 3, greater than epoch value is 3, is it true?
No.
No. So as it is a false case, now go to
Step 2.
step. Perfect. Step 2. We have to go to step 2. Now again go to step 2. Again go to step 2. Now again calculate the gradient. Dou f by dou x equal to 2x. That means 2 into x value and
6.4.
6.4. That's equal to 12.8. That's equal to 12.8. Okay. So what the step 3? Change in step 10. Delta x equal to minus eta dou f by dou x. That's equal to minus eta is 0.1 and 12.8. That's equal to minus 1.28. Ante kadamma.
Yes.
Next step 4. Update. X equal to x plus delta x. What is the x value now?
6.4.
Good. The 6.4 minus 1.28. Now the new value equal to 5, 1, 2. No. Yeah, 5 1 good. 512. Huh? See, from 6.4 to 5.1 it is coming out. So see how it is slowly moving toward the bottom point, minimum point. Okay, it is a 5.12. So what next? Step 5.
Iteration.
Iter equal to iter plus 1. That's equal to current iteration.
3, sir.
3 plus 1, that's equal to 4. Good. Next step 6, check for the convergence criteria. If iter is greater than epochs or not. ఏమవుతున్నాం ఇక్కడ iter 4, epochs
sir.
3, true, right? So
Yes.
no need to run this iterator loop, come out of the loop, and you can choose the x value and also f of x value. So what the x value? Final x value is the 5.212, and what the f of x value? 5.12 whole square plus 5. These are the things you are printing as a solution. Krishna, అర్థమైన ఆల్రెడీ ఎట్లా రన్ అవుతుందో?
Yes, sir.
ఇప్పుడు మీకు ఏమైనా డౌట్ వచ్చింది ఎవరికైనా? Is there any doubt now? It's almost closing to session now. Final question, మీకు doubt రావాలి. Anyone got that doubt? Otherwise, I will tell you and close the session. Doubt is, by seeing the function, we know that minimum value of f of x equal to 5 at x equal to 0. Agree?
Yes, sir.
But where we are landing? X equal to
5.1.
5.1 and minimum value something I am getting 30, around 30. Kada?
Yes, sir.
So where I did a mistake? ఎందుకు అలా వస్తుంది?
Iteration.
So, that global point, what I have to do?
Neta equal to 0.1 తీసుకున్నాను.
Okay, that's also fine. But we can't take the large value of x.
Epochs.
Perfect. So just as it is a hand calculations, I am taking only 3 epochs, right? So if you take a large number of epochs, definitely it will reach at the 0 point. Slowly it will decrease out, sir. Initially it is at 10, now 8, 6.4, 5.12. Slowly it will decrease at iterations progress and finally landed here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so because it is a hand calculation, I am taking the only 3 epochs. But when you write a program, then you have to keep maximum number of iterations like 10,000 or 1,000, 100 like that. So just run the iterative worker.
Yes,
Okay, then? Yeah. So now I will close the session for today and we will
Sir.
meet.
లెర్నింగ్ రేట్ ఎక్కువ తీసుకుంటే తక్కువ ఇటరేషన్స్ లో అవుతుందా సార్?
I will explain about what is the impact of learning rate in the learning in the next class.
Okay, sir.
There is some small discussion required on the learning rate impact on the updation of the variables.
ఓకే సార్.
Iterative algorithm మనం మోడల్ పారామీటర్స్ అప్డేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు లెర్నింగ్ రేట్ ఇంపాక్ట్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుందని డిఫరెంట్ గా